Reece, and I'll ask all three of you, but we'll start with Reece. Your excitement of being here in Dayton and back in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, great excitement. This one was a little nerve wracking. With the selection show, not knowing our faith fully. So just to be able to get in and have this another moment, coming off last year, it means a lot to me.
Isaac, your thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, like he said, going into the selection show, this year is a little different. We were on the bubble. We weren't sure if we were going to be here. So watching the selection show, like he said, was a little nerve-wracking. But just to see our name come up, it was a blessing. And I know we're all excited to be here. I know we're all excited to hopefully make a run. And we're going to do our best to do that. So, yeah.
And then Ryan.
These two kind of touched on it a lot. We were kind of nerve-wracking a little bit going to the show. Seeing our names was very exciting for us, and we're grateful to be here and get this opportunity again.
Without any questions in the audience, let's jump online. And Mike, your question for the student athletes via Zoom.
Hey guys, congratulations on the bid. I'm curious if you could just tell me what you've seen from Colorado State, your sense of what they do well and what will be important tomorrow night.
We'll start with Reece.
Yeah, we watched a little bit of their film so far. I know they have a more experienced and older team. Great guard play from them, and just a lot of moving actions with them. So, we gotta use these prep days to kind of scout good for them and kind of have our best chance.
Isaac, and preparation for the Rams.
Yeah, no, like Reece said, they got really good guard play. Old, experienced team. They're in a really good conference, and Mount West has been a really good conference this year. So, it's not a light test at all. It'll test, our vision, our defense, because they got a really high-powered offense. So, I'm excited for the challenge, and they're a really good team. So we'll see how we stack up against them tomorrow.
And Ryan.
Yeah, same thing. We watched film. We've seen how good they are with their guards, with their actions and their cutting and their DHOs and stuff. So we got to be on high alert for that. But we're just excited to go play against them. I know they're a really good team, so we should come out and be ready.
Also important to note for those individuals in attendance, but also for the folks joining us online, when you ask your question, if you could provide your name and your affiliation, we greatly appreciate it. Question in the back of the room.
Justin Harris, University of Dayton. So you guys are rated as one of the best defenses in the country. What got you guys to buy into that defense first mindset?
Ryan?
I'll say Coach TB was probably the biggest thing. He drilled it into us in the summer a lot, just doubling down on defense, being in the gaps, playing our roles defensively, and just having that defensive mentality is big for us, can help us win games. When shots aren't falling for us, we can rely on our defense to get stops. So that's kind of the big reason why we kind of just double down on our defense and rely on it a lot.
Isaac, thoughts on defense?
Yeah, I feel like the first thing is if you don't play defense, you're not going to play here. So, we kind of have to do it. But like Ryan said, when our offense, sometimes we're not hitting shots, our defense can keep us in the game. So, that's like our calling card is our defense. And it's going to take a good defensive effort tomorrow against this Colorado State team. But, we drill defensive a lot. Coaches are honest about it. So I think that's why we have such a good defense.
Two-time Defensive Player of the Year, Reece.
Yeah, I've been here this is my last year here, fourth year, and Coach Bennett has preached defense since day one. Offensive has changed, different schemes with that, but our defense, intensity has always been there from day one. I think that that energy he brings to our practice, it feeds on us. I think everybody gets locked in and dialed in. Defensively, it's just when you do that, it makes defense more fun. I know everybody wants to play defense, but when you play like us, I feel like it's energizing.
Second row on the end.
Mike LaPresti, NCAA.com. It was an interesting season, apparently, for Virginia. You had some really good wins, some good stretches, and then there were some really tough days looking at the scores. What was the difference from day to day, from game to game with you guys?
Reece?
I don't know. It was just, some nights were not our nights, and I feel like we just kind of, let the game get away from us. We never really, had to fight back in those games. We kind of just let it go. But I feel like down the stretch, we kind of, try to battle and get away from those. I know the ACC tournament games were all close, possession games. And I feel like we battled throughout those whole games. It was definitely moments we could have lost it and, kind of just, lost our composure. But I feel like we've grown in that area, and that's gonna help us in the tournament.
Isaac, your feelings on the up and downs of the season?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of those were in, the early season. We took a lot of tough losses early in the season that we probably shouldn't have. And I feel like a lot of those were because we weren't playing a full 40 minutes. We'd come out strong in the first half, and then we'd let it get away from us in the second half, and the lead kept going. But I think we've kind of matured as the season went on, and, we've cut down on those. Our offense is a lot better now. Our defense is a lot better now. So, I think we're starting to play a full 40 minutes, down the stretch at the end of the season. So I think that's the biggest difference.
Brian?
Yeah, I think early in the season was kind of our biggest struggle because of our inexperience. Getting to know each other, know our strengths and our weaknesses. And I think kind of what Max said, sometimes we'll come out and play strong for another 20 minutes, and then somehow it will slip, or we won't come out our best, and we'll get punched in the mouth early. But I think once the midway through the season point, we kind of got it together, and we kept pushing, kept going forward. I think that was kind of our string of wins that we needed. And then at the end, we had a little slack, but I think we tightened up a little bit. So I think just for us, just keep that 40-minute mentality. Just keep playing 40 minutes as much as we can.
Fourth row in the middle.
Hey guys, Brady Hopkins with the University of Dayton. So as great as a coach as Tony Bennett is, him being at Virginia for so many years, what has he done that stood out to you guys that made you guys want to play for a great coach like him?
I'll start with Ryan.
That's a good question. I think on my visit was probably the biggest thing that I've seen. I think off the court wise, he's just a great person to be around. He's honest. He's going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. That's what I was looking for in a coach: someone to tell me when I'm doing well, with someone to critique me when I need help. So that was kind of one of the big reasons. And then in practice, he brings the same intensity, probably more to practice than the games, which is kind of crazy to me. But he's just a great coach to be around. He tries to bring out the best in you whenever we need it. He tries to encourage you, but he also let you know what you need to know. So that's why I like him as a coach.
Isaac?
Yeah, like he said, he tells you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. A lot of coaches in the recruiting process will tell you, you're going to come in and be the man and stuff like that. But I feel like TB didn't promise us anything, and me anyway. He told me, if you're good enough, you're going to play, but I can't promise you anything. And I really respected that about him. So just his honesty and how genuine he was, the thing that brought me to him. And then, like Ryan said, his passion for the game, how he pushes in practice is a big deal. And, that's who I want to play for, someone like that for sure.
And Reece?
Yeah, I'll say just his genuine personality outside the court. I kind of want to coach with, have a relation on and off the court, because basketball isn't just the whole thing while you're in school. So we kind of built that relationship, and, I could tell he's got that with a lot of the guys. So it's just good to have that balance.
Mike, do you have another question for our student athletes on Zoom?
I do. Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Hey, Reece, you obviously decided to come back for your senior year, and this was a big part of your goals for this year. What does it mean to you to be here, and what would it mean to win some games in this tournament?
Yeah, it'll mean a lot. Like you said, this was the reason I came back. Been here 2 times, been knocked out the first round both times. So just to have the opportunity, just to lead this team and, see how far we can go, I feel like we got a good chance. I feel like we're playing some of our best basketball right now, and, I'm just excited to see how far we can go.
Mike, a follow-up question? Or
yes, please.
Do you have another one?
And for Isaac and Ryan, I'm curious, just this process with the first 4. It wasn't that long ago that you found out you were in and who you were playing, and you're already there in Dayton. What has this kind of whirlwind been like of getting there and getting ready?
Isaac?
Yeah, it's a quick turnaround, and, we went from watching the show on Sunday uncertain if we'd even be in the field to seeing our name come up, and then we ended up practicing that night because, we like to get 2 practices in before a game. Like I said, it's a quick turnaround. So, and then we were off to Dayton, and here we are. So, I'm thankful to be here. I'm thankful that they gave us a chance. So, I know we're excited to get after it tomorrow.
And then Ryan.
Yeah, like Isaac said, it was kind of a crazy couple of 48 hours for us. We were sitting on our couches just trying to see if we're playing, and then next thing you know, we're here in front of you guys. But we're all grateful to be here. It's just we're playing basketball. It's what we do. It's what we love to do. So I'm grateful to be in this position to just be playing March Madness again.
Other questions for our student athletes? Let's go to the second row on the end.
for Reece, I guess to start with,
Excuse me,
what
just name and affiliation.
Jeff White, VirginiaSports.com. What was the level of confidence among the team going into the selection show? Because there were a lot of emotions in the video that got posted, and MC and other guys kind of going crazy.
Yeah. Well, it was a lot of uncertainty coming in. You know, I was seeing online a little bit. Most of the brackets had us out, like the first 4 out, just like right on that cut line. So coming in, I didn't know what to expect. I know those brackets are always like the final, and stuff changes, but the emotions were high. All day I was just kind of nervous, trying to not think about it too much, but that was really what was on my mind most of the day. So. Getting our name called was a, great experience, probably one of the best experiences at UVA so far. So, yeah, it was just a great honor to be here, and I hope we make the most of it.
Isaac, do you have a favorite March Madness moment?
Well, I've only been in one March Madness, and it didn't go too well. So.
Well, even as a fan, I mean, growing up as
a
kid.
Okay. Probably I'm going to go with my teammate Jake Groves whenever Easton Washington, him and his brother, both had like 30 against Kansas. I enjoy watching that. Shout out Jake Groves.
Same question to Ryan.
Favorite moment? I think for me, so I was kind of a UNC fan growing up. Don't tell nobody. So I would say when Marcus Page, even though kids didn't hit that shot, I think Marcus Page hitting that shot to tie the game up for them. Was kind of a big deal for me. I was young. I was cheering up and down. And then Chris Jenkins hit that shot, and I kind of cried a little bit. But that was probably one of my favorite memories. And then when they won the next year, it was a good memory for me. That's probably my favorite one, too.
And Reece?
I would probably say the UVA run. That was right. I was getting recruited a little bit by them at that time, and just to see them, with all Ty, Kyle, and Dre and all them, that was a special run, and kind of just put in like perspective that I could be there at one point, and that was just a special run for them after coming off the loss they had the year before.
Second row.
Yeah, Jeff Gilbert, Dayton Daily News. Isaac, with how the ACC tournament ended for you guys with the NC State game. Just what are your thoughts about, man, we get another chance to go play and we get to be in this tournament when you knew you were on the edge of it?
Yeah, I thought we had chances to put that game away, especially when I stepped to the line. But, it's good to have another chance to play because, I would have hung my head on that forever if we wouldn't have got in. But so just having the chance to play, with the selection show, the uncertainty if we were going to be in or not, seeing our name, getting this chance, I think we're just going to make the most of the opportunity. And I know we're all really thankful to be here for sure. So,
Jeff, another question?
Yeah, just you guys, kind of the same thing. I'm like, we almost didn't get to do this. How is it? Is there a gratefulness? Well, how do you feel about that,
Reece?
Yeah, I'd definitely say relief. After – that loss has been with us. That was like 2 days after, 2 days after, still on my mind. And then going to the selection show, like if that was like our last ACC game, that was just a tough way to go out. So it's just relief getting into the tournament. Kind of that pressure of that last game kind of goes away knowing we have another opportunity to have a better outcome.
Ryan?
Yeah, I'll say the same thing. That loss kind of hurt us a lot. We were kind of just figuring out we were on the edge of the line, and we didn't know what was going to happen for us. We kind of needed that win, and it was kind of a crazy loss for us to have. But being back here with this opportunity, we're just again grateful, and we don't know what can happen. Anything can happen for us, for anybody. Like we heard that there were a lot of kind of what we said, a lot of brackets, or like 63 brackets out, and only one of us had us in, and we were kind of like on the doubt of like, okay, well, we're probably not, probably might. We don't know. So hearing our name called and being back on this stage and being back in this arena and this platform, it's just great to be back here.
Let's go to the second row on the other side of the aisle.
Jeff White, VirginiaSports.com. Isaac, this might fall more on the coaches than the players, but what is the challenge of getting ready for a game of this magnitude in such a quick time against a team that you're not familiar with?
Like I said, after we found out we got in the tournament, we practiced that night. two pretty intense practices because, like I said, they're a good offensive team, and we pride ourselves on our defense. So we've been going over their actions and stuff, just practicing guarding it. Really intense practices. So, and like you said, we don't know a whole lot about Colorado State, so we've been watching a lot of film. Getting a lot of info on them, just trying to do whatever we can. And the coaches put us in the best position to win. So, I think where we're at right now, we're in a good spot. They're a really good team, so we're going to have to come out and play. But I'm excited, and I think we have a good chance.
Mike, another question online via Zoom.
Yeah, guys, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. If you guys could just share, Jordan Minor, obviously coming to Virginia, getting to the tournament was a big part of his goal. What's your experience been with Jordan, and how happy are you guys for him that he gets that opportunity?
Isaac?
Yeah, Jordan, really good player, of course. Early in the season, he probably didn't get the minutes he wanted to, but he's just, he's put his head down, he's kept working, and, ever since he stepped in the lineup, he's really helped us a lot. He's came in big games. There's a lot of really good, centers in the ACC, and he's held up with them pretty well. So, I respect Jordan. He's my roommate on the road, so I've gotten really close with him this season. So I'm really glad he's a part of this journey with us, and, Jordan's one heck of a guy, so I'm happy for him.
Ryan, your thoughts on Jordan?
Yeah, Jordan's put his head down and work all year, and I'm forever grateful to have him here, and he's put the work in. He's shown that he's one of the best bigs in the ACC, but not only Jordan, but also Jake and Reece, having our seniors come back and being able to be here is big for all three of them. Jake came here to be back in the March Madness, which was good for him, and then Reece came back for his last year to be here. So I'm just happy for all three of them to be back here. I'm happy for us just to help them be in this position that they're in. So yeah.
Reece.
Yeah, I just got a lot of respect for him. He came to this program. This isn't, one of the easiest programs to it takes time to fit into the system and fully understand it. So, his timing, it took him a while to get under control. But when he came in, he made an instant impact, and I was very grateful for that. So, I'm just very proud of him. He never, gave up. He easily could have just shut down when he wasn't getting the time he probably wanted. But when he came in and stepped up, he did a lot for us, and he's shown that his growth over the season is a major help for us.
Any other questions for our student athletes? Gentlemen, congratulations getting here. We're really excited to watch you tomorrow night against Colorado State. Best of luck.
Thank you.
At this time, we welcome to the stage the head coach of the Virginia Cavaliers, Tony Bennett. Coach, before questions, just your thoughts on the season and being back here in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, really, I think an up and down season. Probably one of the more inexperienced teams that I've coached. This is my 15th year at Virginia, and with just the way college basketball is, we didn't have a lot of experience returning. And I probably shouldn't be talking about that, knowing who we're playing, because they're one of the most experienced teams. But we had Reece Beekman. And I think you're going to see two of the best point guards go head-to-head tomorrow. I think Isaiah is special from what I'm seeing, and I know what Reece is, and he is too. But Reece was our guy who came back, and the two guys that were just up on the podium before me, Ryan played about 10 minutes a game, and Isaac McKneely played about 20 minutes, and the rest, no one played, so it was all new. So I didn't know what to expect. We had a few games early where we got blown out, and we had some late. But we always kind of bounced back, and their spirit was good, and we kept fighting and found a way to finish third in the ACC and fought, and I think we improved as the season went on. So to be able to position ourselves, and then after a heartbreaking loss against NC State where I thought we played quality basketball, we didn't know if that was going to be, at times the way this is this year, you think, I think that's enough, I think we're in. And then well, everybody's on the bubble, but we certainly sweated it out, but so grateful for the opportunity. And I heard the last questions for Reece, for Jake, and for Jordan, those guys. I've been fortunate to experience so many good things, and I'm grateful for that. But to see it for the young men who I know what they're about, and that was a powerful moment when our name came up. It was real emotional, and it was exciting to celebrate with them because a lot of the brackets. I don't look into that, but one of our SID said, or actually it was someone else said, well, you're not on many of those brackets. So I don't know what your chances are, but I'm just thankful to be here.
Second row on the end.
Michael Press the NCAA.com. Tony, you have experienced the highest highs and the lowest lows in this event. How does all that experience, has that developed the way you look at this thing, how you approach it, and is it a value at this time when you're trying to get a team ready and you can share whatever with them?
Yeah, no, I certainly have, and you know, it's just one of those deals where you prepare as well as you can. You know, and I think even more this year, last year, the quality of teams because of, you know, the transfer rule and, you know, even at the extra year, you can kind of fix your team quick. I think the quality of the game is as good as it's been. And so you prepare your team well. You know that you're going to have to execute. You're going to have to do things. You know, the conference tournament kind of prepares you for that. But you're thankful for the opportunity, excited, but you rely on your experiences. And I just said kind of in my opening statement, we only had one player that had played at Duke when we went there, and only a couple of our guys had played in an ACC tournament. So you never know. Sometimes that inexperience can be positive. You step into it, but you embrace the challenge, and you just possession by possession play it out and know that nothing's guaranteed in this tournament. I mean, so much as we've talked about it, being healthy, matchups, how you're playing, and obviously the opponent. So, yeah, like I said, I have experienced both highs, and I mean both sides of it, you know, and it keeps you humble for sure.
Second row in the middle.
Jeff White, VirginiaSports.com. Tony, with so little time to prepare for this game, what do you prioritize in these practices?
Well, I think, you know, you have to be true to who you are. And, you know, when we saw our name come up and it was Colorado State, and obviously knowing the job Nico has done, I know Nico personally, and I think he's one of the better coaches. I don't know his age exactly. I was going to say better young coaches out there. But he's done great in the way his team plays. So you know you're going to have to be as good as you can defensively to make them earn. You look at their point guard, you look at their experience, but you pick 3 or 4 things and say, fellas, this is who we are. Let's be as good as we can, and hopefully it's our best against their stuff. And again, you know, you're going to have to play a complete game. We understand that. As I said, the tournament, that's why I think it was so hard probably for the selection committee. The tournament has improved with the teams and the age and the, you know, transfers and all that have added so much to the quality of the game from start to finish. So many upsets in conference tournaments, and I think that's a reflection of that. So you can't overcomplicate it. You don't have time to. You just got to be as ready as you can, and when that ball's tipped, try to enjoy it, but get after it.
Go to the fourth row.
Hey, Coach. Brady Hopkins with the University of Dayton. So you played for your father in college for 4 years, and he was your head coach. And so were you able to see anything from him as a head coach that you maybe could have applied to yourself as a head coach since you've been a head coach for 18 years now? Yeah, I actually played at the Nutter Center at Wright State. I was at Wisconsin Green Bay and played for him, played against Vitaly Potapinko. So I don't know if people remember him. And we were just talking about what were we just talking about before? Yeah, that's right, Bill Edwards, great players. It's a great league, and it's changed. But playing for my father was one of the most enjoyable things and sometimes one of the most excruciating things all in one. You talk about the agony and the ecstasy of it. But he taught me so much. I learned from him, and I've said this often before, probably the greatest lesson I learned. That was a very fierce competitor, and he demanded execution, and he would push you hard, but whenever he stepped across the line, he would apologize the next day, or he'd say, forgive me, I lost my temper. And I remember that always struck me, and because he'd push you hard. And I think that was a great lesson to learn, because as coaches, you don't have all the answers. We make mistakes, we screw up, and sometimes the heat of battle, things happen. But if you can tell the young men, sorry, forgive me, we need you. That's what I learned from him, among a bunch of other stuff, basketball-wise, and you know, I've never seen a coach, really, there's only a couple, and of course I'm biased, but that could get more out of a team. They could find a way to just get teams to be competitive. I still marvel at that. But
that first thing I said is stuff that's lasting. I think that's the good stuff. But thankful to play for him, and I coached with him. Probably coaching with him was a little easier than playing for him, but it was all good.
Let's go to the second row on the end.
Michael Presti, NCAA. As a coach, is there sometimes a helpless feeling when the free throws aren't dropping? And when a team is struggling from the line, do you talk about it, not talk about it, just go out and shoot more, or what?
Yeah, we've had a lot of opportunities this year, and been in those spots, and we've won almost all of our close games. And we've tried a lot of different things. You do the old drill where you put a guy at the free throw line and the team's underneath, and if they miss, you got a down and back or different things, and we've got competitions. But at this stage, I think probably less is more. You don't have time. You get your reps, you shoot them, and in these tight games, free throws really matter. So I always have confidence in our guys, but that has been a struggle most of the year. And I'm always, like I said, I'm hopeful, but probably less is more at this stage. You encourage them, say, hey, get the next one if you miss one, and try to get the right people at the line. But it's, I think we were last in the league in free throw shooting, and it wasn't for a lack of, no one's trying to miss free throws. There has to be a rhythm and a confidence, and you got to get there, and no one's trying to miss them. So you just kind of get on to the next thing.
Stay in the second row, Jeff.
Jeff Gilbert, Dayton Daily News. Kind of segues into my question about Isaac having missed the NC State, the end of the game, the ups and downs of everything. How happy are you I know you're happy for your team to get this chance after that loss, but how much also for Isaac feeling like I'm the guy that maybe let us down?
No, he didn't. He played terrific, and Reece played terrific. And so for those guys to get in, and look, I believe I made a mistake at the end of the game. That we had 2 fouls. We had decided to not foul. We fouled a 3-point shooter before, and then we had talked as a team and said, let's win it with our defense, and we got to stop with 5 seconds left. Didn't foul. We were up 3, got the rebound, and Isaac went to the line, and I was going to call timeout, but I didn't want to ice him. But should have had, if I could do that over, should have had the guys at the line, and thinking about it now, maybe fouled on that spot because we had some to give. So, look, all that stuff happens. There's things in game. Basketball is a game of mistakes, right? And it's the team that can knock down those mistakes. And we always talk about knocking down bad habits defensively or offensively. Not being perfect, there's going to be mistakes made, but you knock them down. But the way he played in that game, the way Reece, we wouldn't have even been in that game, in that spot, if those guys hadn't produced the way they did. And those are the guys we wanted at the line for sure. And I think we missed, made 1 out of 5 in the last 60 or 70 seconds, which we could have salted away, but they played well to get to that spot. And I'm very grateful that they got this opportunity. That's why I think it was so emotional in the selection show when we were there, because it's just, you could feel that, and there was a lot there.
Question via Zoom. Matt, your question for Coach.
Yeah, Coach. Matt Majinski with College Basketball Review. Obviously a lot of debate like every year as far as which teams on the bubble are going to make it, which teams won't. As a last 4 team in, is there maybe a sense of, okay, we want to prove that we deserve to be in here?
Of course, well, you want to play well. You always start by being thankful, and we always are so thankful and grateful for the opportunity. But then you just want to play well. I mean, if you're trying to prove to everyone who says you're not good or you don't belong, that's a tiresome battle. You got to look at your group and say, let's play to our fullest abilities. Let's go after this and get after it. So, but who doesn't want to come into this NCAA tournament and advance? And so that part is there. But I think the excitement of getting in, and then again knowing you're going to have to play well and you're going to have to execute on both ends to advance, is where the focus is. And you think of it that way. That's at least our approach.
Let's go to the fourth row.
Coach, hi. Patrick Zableski, University of Dayton. So you talked about being on the bubble this year, which is a different position than your program's usually in. Can you talk a little bit about how the approach this year has been different as a bubble team than in years past when you're more of a lock?
Yeah, I think, the last number of games, handful of games, 6 or 7 games, every game was meaningful, and we knew that. And that is, if you just sit there and fixate on that, that's tough, but you know you're playing in meaningful games, and so you just lock into the execution, you lock into like what you can do. We just kept talking about, whether it was 4 minutes at a time or giving our best, but holding it a little bit loosely. And I thought then the guys started playing, and you had a couple big wins, and then we went to Duke and got crushed there and had to get back up again, and go to BC. There's different games, play in the conference tournament. So that situation and all those teams that are on the bubble understand that. That's a little different experience than, okay, we can drop one or go into the conference tournament, we're going to be maybe our seed drops. So I think it's important, and I always told our guys, it's good to be playing meaningful games at this time of the year. The alternative, if it's not meaningful unless you're there, is not as good. So with our team and being, I don't want to say this was a rebuilding year, but it was just a different year for us with the inexperience, and Reece being the only guy that has played a significant amount, and then Isaac and Ryan. But it was a year that we didn't know quite what to expect, so we just kept head down. We kept talking about it, and you hear all the time, put the blinders on, and the Kentucky Derby, the horses, they get in and just blinders on, head down, and run the race in front of you, and don't look left or right. And that's kind of been the approach for us always, but especially being a team that was on the bubble.
Let's go second row in the middle.
Coach Marcus Hartman, Dayton Daily News. Welcome to Dayton, and I just wonder, there's been, with the different experiences you've had playing at a smaller school, the different places you've coached, there's been things floating around about potential changes to the tournament, whether it's auto bids, expansion, whatever have you. I just wonder, maybe if you have any thoughts on any of those types of things.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously I played at Green Bay. We talked about that. Coached at Wisconsin with my father and Coach Ryan, and was an assistant with Coach Gardo. They're doing a great job at Wisconsin. Was at Washington State, where we were trying to build the program, and got left out if the selection committee was the way it is now at Green Bay my senior year, we were in. And I'll never forget, we had it was at a sports bar, there were a couple hundred people there, the newspaper, we celebrated. We thought, we sat there and watched the brackets come out, and then boom, when we weren't in, I know that feeling. So as far as the tournament, the number it's at now, I think it's a good number. I don't think it should go a lot bigger, but if there's room to expand it and it makes sense timing-wise, and maybe some of these teams that are on the bubble, I guess whatever line you move it to, there's always going to be a bubble, right? And we'll find that out with this college football playoffs. But I just, I think there's something special about the size it's at. Maybe there's a little room for more, and I'm glad they expanded it to this site over the years. How long has it been since they've done that? 10 years. So it's a good decision, great decision. So, but I, if it makes sense, certainly you do it, but you don't want to hurt the integrity of this thing and the quality of it.
Second row on the end.
All right. Maybe no one understands what Matt Painter's last 12 months have been like better than you do. Not that you've had a lot of free time, but have you kind of, out of curiosity, just kind of kept an eye on them, see how they came back from that, how they're doing it, how they're going to do it this month, as far as just how they handle the whole thing?
Well, first of all, you talk about an unbelievable coach, and man, he's special that way. I know Matt. I wouldn't say we're close friends, but respect him so much, and the way we got to the Final Four in Purdue in the Elite Eight was one of those endings that was, goes down in the record books, I think, for how we won that game. And as excited as I was, I felt for him at that time. But then, seeing that happen, I didn't want to see that. I remember a couple of my coaches said, they texted me and said, I think we're going to have company. And I wasn't watching that game at the time. It wasn't. I was like, and I turned the game on, and I felt some of those feelings, and I was like, no. I was hoping it wouldn't happen, but it did. And look, there's been a lot of that. The parity of the league's good, and I did send Matt a text, and we had talked, a time or two and saw him. But he's strong, and again, how you deal with that will determine what happens. They've had a great year. That doesn't guarantee anything. They have a good enough team certainly to win it all. You can see that. But yeah, I'm sure there's some things that he's had to deal with that no one else has. We have in our own ways, and it is humbling, but it produces some things that wouldn't be produced without that experience, because it becomes more about you and your young men, you and your family, and those that you entrust yourself to, and it tightens the circle and makes it pretty strong. And I would imagine that that is a rock solid group, and I wish Matt and that group nothing but the best.
Mike, your question for Coach via Zoom.
Hey, Tony, Mike Barber, Richmond Times-Dispatch. Congratulations on the selection.
Thanks, man.
I'm curious what you see from Nico's offense that makes it so challenging.
A lot. I had to do the Westwood radio, and Coach Boeheim he's going to be the radio guy. And I said, Jesus, this is one of those years where maybe I wish I had Coach Boeheim's zone. You didn't have to handle all those cuts. I mean, they move, they cut. And as I said, Isaiah is their point guard. He's one of the best passers I've seen. You know, him and Reece, those are two such special point guards. But his composure, the way they use him, whether it's ball screens or dribble handoffs or little actions, and then they're cutting the other guys, and their physicality, Mike, you know, just their spacing, their cutting, they score in different ways. It's impressive. And you know, I've known Nico, and my father and him are actually very close, and always have, you know, certainly been impressed with what he's done. And you know, watching it now in the last 2 days closely, you can see why they've been so successful over the years in a very good league. And I think it just puts a premium on your ability to, you know, first get back, and you can't stop everything, but you have to make them earn, and you better be continuous and have great vision, but you got to be able to guard your guy and then get him off the glass, all those kinds of things.
Just for confirmation, 13 for the first four here. Years.
Oh, 13 years. 13. I was going to say 13.
Coach.
No, we're at 10 seed. No, we're at 13 seed. Okay.
Coach, we greatly appreciate your time, and we are really looking forward to seeing your group tomorrow night. Best of luck against Colorado State.
Appreciate it.